Some quarters sit in drawers for years because nobody believes they matter, until one collector sees a shifted strike, a copper-colored side, or a tiny detail that changes everything. The 1983p Washington quarter dollar is one of those coins that feels ordinary until you understand the story behind it. It does not have the silver content of older quarters. It does not carry a special state design. It does not immediately look rare. It is simply a quarter from the early 1980s, the kind of coin that could sit in a cash register, a laundromat machine, a parking meter, or an old jar for years without anyone stopping to inspect it. But in coin collecting, ordinary is often where the mystery begins. Imagine someone cleaning out an old desk drawer. Under receipts, keys, and folded papers, there's a small pile of quarters. Most are scratched and dull. Then one coin shows the date 1983 and a small P mint mark. At first, it looks like nothing special. But when the coin is turned under the light, something feels different. The edge looks a little unusual. The strike seems sharper in some places and weak in others. Suddenly, that quarter becomes a question. The 1983p quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. A normal-clad Washington quarter from this era weighs about 5.67 grams and is made from copper nickel-clad layers over a copper core. That official weight is very important because collectors use it to check whether the coin was struck on the correct planchet or whether something unusual may have happened during production. The year 1983 is especially interesting because the early 1980s were not always kind to collectors looking for pristine coins. Many coins went straight into circulation, and quarters from this period often picked up marks quickly. A coin can be common in worn condition, but difficult to find in beautiful condition. That is why high-grade survivors, dramatic errors, and clean certified pieces can get attention. But condition is only part of the story. The real suspense begins when we search for errors. One possible error on a 1983p quarter is an off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not properly centered between the dies. The design shifts to one side, and part of the coin may remain blank. If the date and mint mark are still visible, collectors usually find the error more desirable because the coin can be clearly identified. Another important error is the missing clad layer. Since modern quarters are made from layers of metal, one outer layer can sometimes be missing before the coin is struck. This can make one side appear copper-colored instead of silver gray. But collectors must be careful. Heat, chemicals, corrosion, and environmental damage can also change a coin's color. A real missing clad layer must show that the mistake happened during minting, not after circulation. A struck through error can also create mystery. This happens when grease, cloth, dust, or small metal fragments get between the die and the planchet during striking. The result may be weak lettering, missing details, or strange flat areas. On a 1983p quarter, collectors should inspect Washington's portrait, the date, the mint mark, the eagle reverse, and the rim. Then there is the rare possibility of a wrong planchet error. If a 1983p quarter was struck on a blank mint for another coin, its weight, diameter, or thickness would not match the normal quarter standard. This is why the scale matters. A serious collector compares the coin to 5.67 grams before making any big claim. Die cracks and die breaks are also worth checking. A die crack appears as a raised line on the coin, not a scratch cut into the surface. A die break can create a raised blob of metal. These errors show that the die itself was failing during production. Some are minor, but dramatic examples can make a coin more collectible. Now imagine the person at the desk again. They do not clean the quarter. That is important. Cleaning can destroy collector value. Instead, they place it under good light. They check the edge. They compare the color. They weigh it. They look for shifted design, missing clad, raised cracks, weak details, and anything that does not match a normal quarter. This is how coin hunting works. It is not about assuming every coin is valuable. It is about knowing which clues matter. Most 1983p Washington quarters are worth only face value in circulated condition. But a rare example with a dramatic mint error, strong eye appeal, unusual weight, missing clad layer, wrong planchet, or exceptional condition can become far more interesting to collectors. So if you find a 1983p Washington quarter dollar, do not rush to spend it. Check the P mint mark, the edge, the weight, the eagle, the portrait, and the surface. Look for off-center strikes, missing clad layers, struck through areas, die cracks, clip planchets, or wrong planchet clues. Because sometimes a quarter does not need to look rare at first glance. Sometimes it only needs one hidden mistake that everyone else missed. The 2008 Oklahoma State quarter dollar is one of the most peaceful-looking coins in the state quarter series. Its reverse design shows the scissor-tail flycatcher, Oklahoma's state bird, flying above the Indian blanket, the state wildflower. It feels calm, natural, and beautiful, the kind of design people might admire for a second before dropping the coin into a jar or spending it without thinking. But a beautiful coin can still hide a dangerous secret. Imagine someone returning from a road trip across the United States. Months later, they find a few quarters in an old backpack pocket. One coin catches the light differently. It says Oklahoma 1907, and the bird appears frozen in flight. At first, it feels like a souvenir. Then the collector notices the design looks slightly shifted. The rim seems uneven. The coin is placed under a lamp, and suddenly the peaceful bird becomes part of a mystery. The Oklahoma quarter was released as part of the 50 State Quarters program. Its design honors Oklahoma's natural identity, with the scissor-tail flycatcher and Indian blanket flower chosen as the central symbols. The U.S. Mint describes the reverse exactly around that bird and wildflower design, making it one of the more visually distinctive state quarters. A normal 2008 Oklahoma State quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, has a reeded edge, and uses the same copper-nickel-clad composition as regular modern quarters. State quarter references also list the Oklahoma quarter specifications at 5.67 grams, 24.26 millimeters diameter, and 1.75 millimeters thickness. That weight matters because error coins often reveal themselves through measurement. If a quarter weighs too little, too much, feels thin, looks wide, or has a strange edge, collectors start asking questions. Was it struck on the wrong planchet? Is a clad layer missing? Was it broad struck? Is it damaged? Or was it a real mint error? One of the most exciting errors for a 2008 Oklahoma quarter is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not properly centered between the dies. The design shifts, and part of the coin may remain blank. On this quarter, an off-center strike could move the bird, flower, date, or lettering away from where they should be. If the state name and date remain visible, the error becomes easier to identify and more desirable. Another possible error is a broad strike. A broad strike happens when the coin is struck without being properly held by the retaining collar. The metal spreads outward, and the coin may look wider or flatter than normal. On a state quarter, this kind of error can be visually powerful because the design no longer sits inside a normal border. A missing clad layer can also make the Oklahoma quarter stand out. Since normal quarters are made from layered metal, one outer layer may be missing before the strike. That can create a copper-colored side or unusual appearance. But this must be confirmed carefully because many damaged coins can look strange without being true mint errors. A struck-through error is another possibility. If grease, cloth, dust, or metal fragments blocked part of the die during striking, the bird, flower, lettering, or Washington's portrait may appear weak, missing, or flattened. On a coin with fine design elements like the scissor-tail flycatcher and flower, these weak areas can be easier to notice. Collectors also watch for die cracks, die chips, and rotated dies. A die crack may appear as a raised line through the design. A rotated die means the front and back designs are not aligned correctly when the coin is flipped. A strong rotation can make a normal-looking quarter much more interesting. The Oklahoma quarter also has different mint possibilities. Circulation coins came from Philadelphia and Denver, while proof versions came from San Francisco. The State Quarter Guide lists 2008P Oklahoma mintage at $222 million, 2008D at $194,600,000, plus proof and silver proof issues. That means the coin is not rare just because of its date. The value comes from condition, error type, mint mark, and certification. Back to the old backpack story. The collector does not clean the coin. They check the edge first, then the weight, then the alignment. The bird, flower, rim, and lettering are inspected under magnification. The coin may still be ordinary, but if one detail is wrong, one shifted strike, one missing layer, one wrong weight, the story changes. Most 2008 Oklahoma State quarters are only worth 25 cents in circulated condition. But rare error examples can become much more collectible, especially when the error is dramatic, visible, and authenticated. So if you find a 2008 Oklahoma quarter, do not ignore it. Look at the bird, the flower, the state name, the date, the edge, the mint mark, and the weight. Compare it to 5.67 grams. Search for off-center strikes, broad strikes, missing clad layers struck through details, die cracks, rotated dies, or wrong planchet clues. Because sometimes the coin with the calmest design can hide the loudest mistake.